May 9th. Perfect, yep. And we have a quorum present, and the meeting has been certified and compliant with open meetings laws.
Correct.
Yep, we don't have anybody up for public comment unless anybody in the audience wants to come on up and say anything, or, all right. Okay. And into communications. Are there any communications? Dave's got plenty?
Well, actually, no, I don't have a lot tonight.
Okay.
The only thing that I've got in the packet for communications is a copy of the attorney bill from DeWitt Law Firm for the firefighters pension fund of about $2,500, but that should be all the fees that we had, which I thought was pretty decent. So just an information point for you folks only. Any questions by chance on the topic? Okay, I don't have any other communications.
The second meeting of the month here. And next up is, I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes from the April 25th meeting.
Move to approve.
Motion by Lisa, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ozzy. Any edits or questions or anything regarding those minutes? All right, hearing none, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
And are any opposed? All right, minutes are accepted. Next bit up is a discussion and possible action regarding placing budget amendments on the Common Council consent agenda.
This was a topic that Tim asked me about, whether we wanted to do this to kind of make the council meetings flow a little bit faster. Did talk with the city attorney. He said we can put anything on the consent agenda that we wish, but because the budget amendments require a 2/3 members elected, we'd probably have it as two consent agendas, the quote normal and then budget consent agenda, if that's what the committee wants to do. I spoke with Brett after the last meeting, and he said, let's just put this on the topic for tonight for open discussion. So I will let you folks have any discussion you want, or if you have any questions, let me know.
Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
I think this would be fine. It's usually these are subsequent to a decision the council has already made.
Not necessarily. We've
Okay.
got the ARPA ones on the council tonight that the committee of the whole did, but we've also got two budget amendments tonight that the finance committee just approved. So in most cases, there's not council action ahead of time.
And as I was saying, what Dave and I were talking about after the last meeting about it was, I don't want things like finance things to get buried within the consent agenda. Sometimes I don't think that we always pay as close of attention to the consent agenda. So I want to make sure that we have these things front and center in front of everybody, that they can discuss it, so that we've got full transparency on what money is doing within the council. Greg?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think it would be a mistake on our part to do that. I believe that, because it is budgetary, it needs to be out there, full discussion, point by point.
Ozzy, any thoughts on it?
No, I'm council, so. But
We can get back on
I don't have a problem with it either way.
All right. Dave, thoughts on it?
I think they should be separated.
Mayor, anything you wanted to add on it further?
No, I just brought it up for efficiency's sake.
Okay.
I'm fine either way. Just, sometimes we'll spend extra time on them. I mean, if you did put it on the consent agenda, you could always act on them separately, which, that would be the other option. But I'm fine with it. I just,
Okay.
wanted to try to speed up the
Sure,
meetings
sure.
if that was the
No,
will.
we're-
And if it's not, I'm okay with it.
All right, no, we understand where you're coming from with that, with efficiency in there. I think that's one, maybe we could tuck other things into it, but, budget ones always seem to be sticky, or at least you've got things that can come back and bite you with that if we don't have them.
Yep. I agree. I think in terms of transparency and everything everyone has already mentioned, we need to be right out there and also find out. I'm always interested to know why, why we need to make an amendment, and so I think it's just leaves a little more room for discussion, so.
I mean, I think we have fairly robust discussions here in committee when we're talking about these, but it is always interesting to get a different perspective, because we're all used to looking at the financial lens of things, so it's good to see different points of view on the subjects. I mean, sometimes they're just cut and dried subjects of, we need money for this, okay, there's money for that, but all right, so I believe the direction then is to, let's keep the budget amendments separated out from consent agenda so we can address them clearly. All right, we didn't really, well, because we don't need any action on it because we're not going to change anything.
I would think I'm just going to have it as the minutes saying by consensus, the committee did not want to go forward with it or something like that.
Sure.
If you want to make a motion, you can, but I don't think you need to.
Yeah, as long as we're staying status quo, so. All right. Next up is the resolution authorizing and levying special assessments against benefited properties.
If you'd like, I can give you a background and take this item if you'd prefer.
For sure, Rodney, thanks.
The format of this is similar to what we see annually. This is for the public street improvements, sidewalk, curb gutter, driveway aprons, and carriage walks that are part of the pulverization and street reconstruction projects this year. The streets that are on the screen are the segments that are planned for work this year, and the assessment role or the assessment schedule matches what the ordinances call out for. 50% for replacement of curb and gutter and sidewalk, 100% for driveway aprons and any driveway or carriage walks. I am going to highlight one kind of deviation from that. The project this year includes a 10-foot wide concrete sidewalk on the south side of Jackson Street from Silverado Drive west to Highway 51 on the south side. In discussions with the Public Works Committee, we recognize there's already a sidewalk there. What we did not plan to do or did not think was proper to do was to special assess those property owners for a 10-foot wide sidewalk, shared use environment. So what we did do is we identified the damaged sections of sidewalks, 4 or 5 foot wide sidewalks that exist there, and their assessment was based on the replacement quantities related to that existing sidewalk that would have needed to be replaced, not to increase the width, but related to that deficiency that's out there now. So I wanted to highlight that so that you're all aware of that discussion. I think we need to prove benefit, and I don't know that we'd be able to truly be able to do so in that scenario where we're just widening it to accommodate that shared use environment.
And you said that was taken up at Public Works, Rodney?
Public Works, we discussed the design and introduced the idea of trying to utilize this strategy so that they were not assessed for, I'll call it, additional sidewalk width than what's standard.
Okay, got it, thanks.
You're welcome.
Anybody have any questions, thoughts on special assessment?
Brett, just kind of information for the committee. The interest rate that is in the public notice and the related documentation talks about a 4.5% interest rate. We happen to see a letter from 2009 recently that had a 4.5 interest rate. So it's been that way since the Great Recession and maybe prior to that. But that rate's pretty low in today's environment. But I elected not to put any discussion of the interest rate on at this time because I think that's part of the broader discussion of special assessments that this committee wants. So if we're going to talk how much to charge the individuals, we should talk interest rate at the same time too. So just a point of information for everybody.
I can also add, not related to the interest rate, but there is a public hearing scheduled for the council meeting on May 23rd. All of these mailings were sent out to the property owners 30 days in advance of that. We've been fielding calls and trying to understand if there's concerns or corrections necessary. And we are meeting with people individually if necessary to address or investigate their concerns.
Just a question on the fiscal impact. Are we still waiting on some bids, or did you have a determination on the cost yet, Rodney?
Yeah, it's a great question, but we have had bids on all the projects with the exception of Bickley Court. We elected to utilize estimates of cost consistent with what we utilized for the bids we did have on the other projects. Because as you recall, we had to reject the bids for the North Street and Bickley Court area. We received those bids today. We have not had a chance to evaluate them yet. But so the preliminary assessments are based on that. I should note that in practice, what we've done in the past is once the project is complete, we actually special assess based on the quantities. In the event that our bids came in more attractively on the itemized items for that cul-de-sac, we certainly could adjust the amounts for those locations to reflect the bid costs at the time of billing.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Greg, were you looking for, all right. Ben or Dave, anything on them?
No, are they gonna just replace the sidewalks that are damaged, not all the sidewalk, correct?
Correct. Generally on a reconstruction street section, we generally replace the full section of the full width of the sidewalk, but we have only limited areas where we're doing that, and that stretch is the stretch I spoke of related to the south side of Jackson Street from Silverado to 51. But again, we're only assessing for that portion that would have met our criteria for replacement.
Good, thank you.
You're welcome.
Ben, anything you want to add on it?
Nope.
All right. If no other questions, I would entertain a motion to approve the resolution to council.
Move to approve or recommend approval to a council?
All right, motion by Lisa, is there a second? Second by Greg. Any other questions, comments? All right, seeing none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
And are any opposed?
Okay. That was 9 out of
Yep.
opposed.
All right, we'll recommend that resolution to council. That brings us through our items that we have. We've got plenty of future items, and we'll
If I
continue to work through them.
can
Yep,
take the microphone for
for sure.
a bit then. May 23rd, as Rodney indicated, we've got the Bickley Court bids that came in, so the May 23rd we'll have that meeting. I am not going to be at that meeting. I will be at the National GFOA conference and then taking a few days off after that. So that leads to the June 13th meeting. We've got the investment policy changes on there. We're doing quite a number of changes on it, but I did not want to introduce that at May 23rd and not be here. I didn't think that was fair to anybody. So that's why you see 3 items there listing or 2 items listing the investment policy. And then June 13th, we hope to have a recommendation back from both the city attorney and the attorney we worked with the Stoughton Housing Authority in regards to the pilot payments with the new owners. Other than that, I didn't have anything else I had to or wanted to bring up in regards to future meetings, unless anybody had any questions for me.
Hold on, there we go. As we were discussing about the interest rates in relation to special assessment, are there other areas where we charge interest rates or where we have interest rates where maybe we could have a policy that would maybe more closely go with cost of living adjustments or something like that? Or
The only other one that comes to mind off the top of my head is if we've got miscellaneous receivables that are unpaid after several months, we can charge interest. And that's something we can talk about when we get into the special assessments. We may want to mirror the Wisconsin statutes and just put it at 12% and leave it at that. But that's a discussion for at a later date.
All right.
But when we're looking at interest, we can also look at other areas that we do charge interest. I don't know if Stoughton Utilities has a policy for their delinquent interest at all, though, or their delinquent receivables.
Okay, all right, not to add anything, but that can be like a future agenda item. We can look at that down the road.
Okay.
Anybody else want to add anything into it while we're talking about stuff? All right, we're off the hook on that then for now. All right, our business is through here. I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion by Greg, second. Anybody? Second by Ozzy. Any questions? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Are any opposed? All right, meeting's adjourned. Thanks, everybody.